Hi, I'm John, and welcome back to Dice Paper Miniatures. In this episode, I kick off a new series I'm working on that's featuring each of the 18 legions that players can play in the upcoming Warhammer the Horus Heresy. Now, the framework I'm using for this series is basically looking at what the Warhammer community is presenting in each of these 18 articles. The lore, the general look and feel of the legion, and of course, its rule mechanics that they're willing to tease at this point. And then maybe down the road, I might have a follow-up as to how accurate I think that these articles presented each of the individual legions. But that would be a series for another time. All right, so again, that's the premises or framework for this series. I'm really excited to get started. In this episode, we have the man himself, Horus and the Sons of Horus. One of, by far, the coolest legions, I think, in the Horus Heresy. Because without him, you probably wouldn't have it. All right, let's begin. Well, we're finally here to the other half of the Warhammer, the Horus Heresy box set. And that means it has to be the Sons of Horus. And you really couldn't say any better than they did. We've had the rest, and now it's time for the best. A legion once led by the Emperor himself, whose Primarch spent decades as his one and only son. It's the personal warriors of the War Master, the most celebrated legion of the entire Great Crusade, the Luna Wolves. Wait, hold on. The Sons of Horus. Yes, the Sons of Horus. As we near the end of our incisive and impartial Legion Day articles, we can finally stop pretending to be impressed by the pretty magic shows of the Thousand Suns and settle in for some real hard truths about the greatest of the Legiones Astartes. You've waited long enough. It's time to extol the limitless virtues of the 16th Legion. So here we have Horus laying the smackdown on what appears to be, at first blush, an Imperial Fist, but it's yellow and red. Which I believe that's like a successor chapter, but we're probably not supposed to really pay that much attention to it. I don't know. There you go. The first recruits of the 16th Legion were plucked from hunter clans and harsh slums across Terra. Places that bred a ruthless and independent spirit, just what the Emperor needed for building his core of go anywhere, kill anyone, shock troops. They made their name, literally, by claiming Luna for the nascent Imperium, striking with such decisive savagery that the Selenite clans begged the Emperor to call off his wolves. Soon after, the Emperor discovered Horus Lupercal. The first of the Primarchs to be found was placed in charge of the newly named Luna Wolves, and with the help of Luna's gene forges, his legion's number grew massively. Bolstered by ferocious gang fighters taken from Horus's home planet of Chthonia. And by the way, a fantastic paint job by Angel Giraldes. For decades, the Luna Wolves fought under the watchful eyes of both Horus and his father, developing a reputation for sniffing out weakness and going for the throat. Whenever the Emperor was busy in shadowy cloisters of Terra, Horus kept claiming glory on the front lines, overshadowing his most competitive brothers and even commanding legions who'd yet to find their Primarchs, like the pioneer companies of the 5th Legion. And then we have an army painted here by Stephen Box from Vanguard Tactics. So yeah, great work, Stephen. These look good as well. I dig kind of the weathering on the tracks for sure. Unlike certain other Primarchs who recruited from criminal hell worlds, hey. Slow your roll there, Horus. Horus had a firm grasp on his legion. The 15th Legion were pragmatic and informal, favoring small, highly flexible formations over a stiff and rigid order of battle. Gilliman would throw a fit, but they were utterly devoted to Horus. What's wrong with a few Chthonian gang markings when you're busily smashing orcs to bits during the Ulanor Crusade? I don't know. Who could truly label Xenocide criminal? I mean, that's just what they do. Who cares if they have some weird scribbles on their face? We're all on the same team, right? Right? Never mind, it's called a Horus Heresy. Despite an unbroken string of stunning victories, despite receiving the title of War Master, despite the love of his brothers and sons, something frustrated Horus. Oh, snap. I just realized, I feel like, is Horus a millennial? So entitled. Maybe a boomer. Ouch. Ouch. Sorry, folks. Did he truly have the respect he deserved? Sanguinius, you know, the good little mutant that we're not supposed to speak about being a mutant. Anyways, he offered an answer. Take up the Emperor's offer to rename his legion once more. And so the Luna Wolves traded their lupine logo for the glaring Eye of Horus, previously known as the Eye of Terra, but you know. Let's rename that one too. We're, you know, it's rename everything Horus Day. And swap their white armor for sea green ceramite. God, what generation is this again? And were reborn as the sons of Horus. Humility runs in the family, it seems. It's so funny. I didn't pick up on a lot of these little nuances when I was younger, but there really is a lot of sarcasm and humor and just ridiculousness to this whole thing. I mean, I knew there was a lot of ridiculousness, but this juxtaposition of grim dark with just a lot of like sarcastic insanity, it works. Sure. All right, for those rule teasers now. The Sons of Horus are close-up killers who enjoy a good charge as much as any frothing world eater or exsanguinating blood angel. I'm not even going to tell you how many times it took for me to pronounce that word correct. Holy crap. Unlike them, however, the 16th Legion don't succumb to the red mist of battle. You can't have grim dark future without red mist. Just saying. Can't be done. All right, these merciless fighters strike fast and often, overwhelming their opponent at their weakest points with an opportunistic blitz. So let's see if this merciless fighter is as good as some of the other melee-related abilities. So, during a turn in which a unit made up entirely of models with the Legiones Astartes, Sons of Horus, special rule successfully charges or are successfully charged, the strength of all melee attacks made against any model in that unit that does not have the vehicle unit type suffers a modifier of -1. Does that feel like they strike fast and often? I don't know how I feel about that. Models with the vehicle unit type and this special rule instead inflict an additional 3 hits. Now that's just silly. For a total of 1d6 plus 3 hits, or 2d6 plus 3 if the vehicle has the super heavy subtype, on units composed of models that do not have the vehicle unit type when conducting a ramming attack. I feel like I don't recall the Sons of Horus being like a heavy vehicle using. Are they? Comment below. I don't really recall the Sons of Horus or Luna Wolves ever like really boasting the use of bikes or vehicles to just like smash people. Like early on in the Horus Heresy, it was like all this kind of gladiatorial sparring matches with some of the main characters and how good they were in hand-to-hand combat, which I guess kind of reflects on the first part of Merciless Fighters. But I don't recall them like ramming speed specialists. Well, I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. It makes me kind of think the best way to play this Legion all of a sudden is get as many small vehicles as possible and just run them into things. Like these are like the demolition derby specialists, which seems kind of weird. I don't know. I have to be honest, not what I'd be expecting from striking fast and often as a legion of infantry dudes, but like, yeah, maybe you just don't do a lot of infantry. Maybe you just do all vehicles and you hope you fight enemies that don't have vehicles. They're all just a bunch of hit and runners. I don't know why I'm hung up on that, but that seems weird to me. The Sons of Horus are masters of war, as you'd expect from the War Master's Legion, with an instinct for independent operation and a knack for sudden violence. While the stolid Imperial fists hole up behind their walls, these consummate death dealers anticipate and retaliate quicker than anyone. They anticipate and retaliate, huh? And death dealers is assigned to an advanced reaction that can only be made once per battle. I feel like right off the bat, they can only anticipate and retaliate quicker than anyone once. One time. Does that really make you a specialist if you can only do it one time? I don't know. God, these guys sound derpy as fuck. I'm sorry. That's probably going to really upset some people. But unless they just got some way better other abilities, and these are just like red herrings to throw people off. Let's go ahead and read it. This advanced reaction may be made once per battle during the opposing player's shooting phase. When an enemy unit declares a shooting attack targeting a friendly unit under the reactive player's control, composed entirely of models with the Legiones Astartes Sons of Horus special rule that is within 12 inches of the attacking unit. Before the enemy unit resolves any 2-hit rolls, the reacting unit may make a shooting attack targeting the unit that triggered this reaction, increasing its BS by +1 the duration of the reaction. Oh, okay. A unit that makes a shooting attack as part of a death dealer's reaction may not make any attacks indirectly without line of sight, including weapons with the barrage special rule or other weapons or special rules that otherwise ignore line of sight. And vehicles may only fire defensive weapons. Template weapons may only be used as part of a death dealer's reaction if the target unit is within 8 inches and must use the wall of death rule instead of firing normally. Once the shooting attack is fully resolved and all casualties caused by it removed from play, the enemy unit may resolve its own shooting attacks, though models removed as casualties due to this reaction may still attack. How are the Sons of Horus rolling up to this game with what feels like the biggest and baddest of like legions? And these abilities don't feel good at all. I'm sorry, I'm really struggling on this one. I want to like the Sons of Horus. I love the look of their legion, their models, the story, the lore of all of it. Now granted, I am looking at this legion as well as all the legions with a slightly more competitive lens, if you will. But I am by far and away not feeling this legion, which surprises me. Now that being said, is it a good pairing with the Imperial Fist, which is the other half in the box? If you were just to make what's in the box the way the box art displays them to be, it gets even more weird. And here's why. The art on the box portrays the Sons of Horus, instead of having any vehicle, they have a Contemptor Dreadnought. And arguably the coolest ability or component of an ability is models with the vehicle unit type and the special rule instead inflict an additional 3 hits when ramming. You absolutely can't even use this ability from the included army unless you flip-flop them. So instead of painting the Imperial Fists the way they're represented in the box, paint that side the Sons of Horus, and the ones that are painted green to be the Sons of Horus, paint those your Imperial Fists. That seems like a really weird thing to not pick up in the entire development of the box and your main legion. Like, I can see them, and I know I'm getting off on a tangent here, but this is kind of a big deal, I think. If you're going to include 2 armies in the box, they need to be a good balance, ideally close to a 50-50 win ratio. Granted, it's a dice game, so that's hard to do. They need to feel, I think, diametrically opposed. Like, one should favor melee, one should favor range or shooting, I think. And Sons of Horus are being pitched as kind of a melee team, but it's kind of a passive. It's not like they're adding to their own hittingness. It's only reducing the people that they hit. Kind of does the same thing. Now, the part where when they get charged, it reduces the strength. That part's good. I think that's pretty cool. That really kind of hoses more aggressive melee legions like the World Eaters for sure. But this vehicle thing, it kind of boggles my mind. They didn't get the vehicle then. You would never get a chance to explore the coolness of this rule if you built the models in the box as prescribed by the sample imagery, right? Wow, that just seems really weird to me. Okay, well, whatever. I think these are my least favorite in terms of rules so far. Unless you can build really cheap vehicles and just like I said, demolition derby everyone. Then that would just be, it would look dumb, but it would be funny. I don't know if that's what you want to do with the game. Not my call. Just saying, demolition derby or like Mario Karting. Yeah, just you're just it should just be called the Road Warriors, right? And just get what are they called? Not Land Raiders. Hold on, I just realized something too. The plot thickens. So check this out. As of right now, on the Warhammer, on the Games Workshop website, here in the US at least, all the land speeders, not land raiders, they're all out of stock. If you can take land speeders in the Horus Heresy, I feel like this is why they're out of stock. They're probably good for all the other legions, but if you're playing vehicular homicide rules, right? If you are the road warrior, this little wording models with the vehicle unit type. And I would imagine these have to be some of the cheapest vehicles. They have to be, right? They're cheap monetarily, so they got it, GW, right? They charge based on how good they are or their point cost in the game. So I think that's just like a conspiracy theory, but whatever. There you go. That's why those things are sold out. Because people are going to be rolling in with Horus because he's the Darth Vader of the 40K universe, kind of, sort of. So you're going to roll up with Darth Vader, and instead of TIE fighters, you're going to have a bunch of land speeders, and you're just going to vehicular homicide people all over the place. So I think it'd be funny if you do that. But I don't think it seems really, really fucking hokey. I don't get it. I know I went way off the rails on this one, but there you go. Roll Sons of Horus. If you can find them cheap, get your land speeders and just smash into everything. Profit. Wow. All right. And if I'm completely off base, definitely comment below. I want to know your thoughts on that because that just seems like total shenanigans. If that really could be a thing. And here I am. Maybe that is a thing in the current Horus Heresy, and I don't have a background in the Horus Heresy, so I have no idea. It just seems like from a game system rules perspective, that's if you want to be super like min-maxer, that's the way to go. And then what's even better, now that I think about it, you make it like a caravan, right? Like total like colonial era where you can create your circle. Not so much with your land speeders, but you encircle your land speeders. Let's go back up here for a second. Yeah, in the beginning, you probably, I would say you circle your land speeders with infantry, I guess, or stay within, to try to like maintain that 12-inch rule to where you get that one big massive like crack shot. Yeah, Again, I'm way off in the weeds on this one, but this could be a funny thing. Like if you position all your land speeders in such a way, they try to take them out, right? But you got in there quick and you're within your 12 inches. So you shoot back, you likely kill them before they get to kill you. And anything that's left over, you just run them down and you just get a huge damage bonus. So anything that's left is just going to get decimated. But that is definitely a one-trick pony type of setup. That's wild. Okay. All right. I guess that's one way of doing it. Literally one way of doing it. Okay. Like all of his brothers, Horus Lupercal was shot into space as a mere babe. But he didn't go far. The future War Master landed near the Sol system on Chthoniya. A thoroughly unpleasant and entirely lawless world, riddled with abandoned mining tunnels and endless bloody gang warfare. If you think Necromunda's bad, trust us, it's got nothing on Chthoniya. Ooh, that sucks. Okay. Horus was taken in by the gang overlord Kagadon, who dubbed him Nergui. Nergui? Nergwai? We're going to go with Nergwai, not to be confused with Nerd Guy. Nergwai. Oh, that's probably totally not the way to pronounce that word. Which literally means no name. Like most things on Chthoniya, you had to earn your own name through murder. I mean, that's just like most things in Warhammer 40K. That's honestly, you could really expand on that. That's just not most things on Chthoniya. That's just most things in Warhammer. Like, period, full stop. But okay. You had to earn your own name through murder. Fortunately for Nurgwai, he didn't have to wait long. Soon enough, the lost Primarch was tracked down by the Mechanicum Tech priests, one of whom he promptly killed. On his return, the boy was scolded by Khagadon for not slaughtering them all like a proper ganger. And as snooping mechadendrites approached their stronghold, his doomed father offered Horus a way to truly earn a fancy new kill name. Yeah, because he needed one. He asked the young warrior to kill him. Nurgwai obliged, catalyzing his transformation into a true Primarch, and Horus was born. Talk about foreshadowing. Actually, all kidding aside, that is pretty cool, but really funny names. I mean, I don't know if Horus is that much better, but yeah, way better than Nurgwai. Okay, reunited with the Emperor, his genetic father, Horus claimed his birthright as a legendary hero of the Imperium. The two palled about the galaxy for decades, forging a relationship that went deeper than father and son. They were friends and trusted each other with their lives. Mistakes were made. Just don't let them drive your land speeder or you're fucked, dude. Yeah. When the time came for the Emperor to get to work on his secret project, he bestowed Horus with the title of War Master, an honor he clearly deserved more than any of his rivals. All of a sudden, I feel like Horus is Dwight from The Office. Oh, who is Horus's Jim? That's what I want to know. As War Master, Horus had the green light to boss around his other brothers, a fact he put to use when choosing who got the worst jobs. Not that he needed the title, charismatic to a fault, Horus can win over anyone with his disarming charm and a voice like honeyed steel, bonding with even the least hygienic of his brothers. Oh, I'm just going to roll with it. Okay. With his Imperium. Oh, so many innuendos. With his Imperium in the hands of his greatest warrior, tactician, and diplomat, what could go wrong for the Emperor now? He's going to run you over, man. He's going to run you over. All right. It is called the Horus Heresy after all. The War Master's ultimate betrayal was rooted in pride, fear, and ambition, helped along by the machinations of the dark gods. Wahaha. All right. On the rebellious world of Davin, Horus was struck down by a tainted blade of tremendous power. The apothecaries were stumped, but Erebus, first chaplain of the Word Bearers, knew just where to get such a nasty wound looked at. The local Serpent Lodge. True story. Oh, for these guys being the bestest and brightest in the galaxy, they fell for some of the dumbest shit. All right, before anyone could even ask to see a medical license, exactly, the healing ritual got underway. And Horus bore witness to a ruinous vision. Yeah, dude, it's like worse than anything in Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like, snakes are bad, dude. Snakes are bad. All right, in the guise of a fallen friend, Erebus showed Horus visions of the past and future alike, a distant age where the Emperor ruled as a god, having cast aside his Primarchs and Space Marines, just as he'd done to the Thunder Warriors before them, and the secret history of his own creation, forged with the same warp magic the Emperor had hypocritically forbidden to all others. I mean, to be fair, he has a good point. He has a good point. That's a pretty epic shot. Can we zoom in on that? Because that is cool. I don't think this was really min-maxed out for enough vehicles, though. Clearly not enough land speeders. It's funny how they have like the Forge World version of the Contemptor Dreadnought in the background. Because even though the new one is cool that it's in plastic and it's posable and just overall the production value is cleaner, sharper, you know. But the little details you get on the Forge World ones, I just think do kind of make them like still a little... They're hard to beat. It's kind of like the concept of an exotic sports car. The actual production vehicle, the new plastic Contemptor, uh, yeah, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, it's cool. It just means it's cool because it is a blank slate. It will give kit bashers and modelers the opportunity to do some really fun stuff because plastic is admittedly a lot easier to work with than resin. If you just want that bespoke, slightly more detailed model, it really is, and at least in this example, I think worth going the Forge World route. But you can't do that now with some of the legions because they're either out of production or I'm not sure they're just not available. So I'll be curious moving forward if in the future we'll get plastic ones that have some of that a little bit more character like the Forge World ones have. I realize that's probably a hot take. I know a lot of people are ecstatic for the plastic ones, and I am too, but I am a little bummed it's going to take even more time for maybe me to get them dialed in to where the details on those Forge World ones are really super cool. Pros and cons. It is what it is. Overall, I'm like a 60-40 plastic, maybe 70-30 plastic when it comes to the Contemptor. All right, so it goes on. According to Erebus, the Chaos Gods were concerned only with the Immaterium, a realm the Emperor planned to conquer and annihilate as he'd done all else. Hadn't Horus protested the formation of the Council of Terra? Mere mortals rather than the Astartes who deserved to rule? He'd help foil his father's dastardly plans, and in exchange, they'd save his life, give him power, and fulfill his wildest dreams. Thus a rebellion was born. Through honeyed words, sworn oaths, and brute intimidation, Horus recruited 7 of his brothers, half of the Mechanicum, and countless others from Titan legios to regiments of the Exertus Imperialis. The rest is history. Specifically, the history of a galactic civil war that engulfed the entire galaxy and came to a rather sticky end for everyone involved. Yeah, legit. All right, so there's no better way to learn more about Horus and his inner circle, the Mournival, than by reading the trio of tomes that kicked off Black Library's entire Horus Heresy series: Horus Rising, False Gods, and Galaxy in Flames. Those are pretty good, for sure. These novels tell the tale of Horus's fall or rise, depending on who you're asking. I always wish the helmets looked as good in plastic as they do in like the box or book art. I don't know why, but they always look a little bit different, and I think arguably a little better in the illustrations. But that's just me being a pretentious art critic, I suppose. After being nicked by a dirty plague sword, getting involved in a chaos ritual, and starting the largest insurrection in human history, even Horus needed a break. He returned in vengeful spirit, where the War Master launches an attack on a well-fortified night world of Malek, for reasons beyond the ken of his allies. All right, so want to throw yourself before the might of the War Master? Discover your legion on the Warhammer Horus Heresy website and find out if you measure up. All right, yep, and it goes on into a painting video as well. Again, I know I brought up a lot of weird little tangents. I really do like the history, the lore, the lore, and the look of the Sons of Horus for sure. And like I said, I kind of feel like Horus is the Darth Vader of the Warhammer setting, whether it's 30K or 40K. He's a cool dude. He's got some great looking Terminator armor. I dig that lightning claw, his mace. It's, yeah, very cool character. And even like things like the upgrade sprues for the shoulder pads and helmets that they released, those all look really cool too. I don't quite get, and maybe I'm just an idiot. I mean, let's be honest. It's possible. I would go I can't help but think I'd really want to explore just the vehicular homicide demolition derby build for this particular legion. I mean, it's probably not really doable, but I'm really confused at what this Merciless Fighters is trying to do, other than just really, I think, heavy-handedly push you in that direction. And I don't know why else all the land speeders would be sold out on the GW website. So I kind of feel like I'm not alone in thinking that. And quite honestly, it kind of pisses me off that I didn't know or think about this sooner, because I probably would have been one of those guys that bought a bunch of land speeders just for shits and giggles. But anyways, what are your thoughts on this particular legion? Are you liking the rules? Do they make sense? Do you think they could be exploited as I was mentioning with the land speeders? I don't know. In any event, I'd love to see what you have to say in the comments below. And as always, if you've enjoyed this content and haven't yet, please consider subscribing, hitting that notification bell, and sharing this content with your friends. It really does help with the growth of the channel, and it's greatly appreciated. And as I mentioned before, I do have other Legion-specific rule teaser videos out there, one for each of the 18 Legions, in fact, that I'd really like to have your thoughts and comments on those as well. Because, like I said, if you haven't seen another one of these videos yet, I've kind of determined I'm going to go with the World Eaters as my primary Legion, but I've been considering a secondary, whether it's to maybe help guide a friend in their choice of what to get, so we could have some fun kind of games that are played with Legions that are not just the same thing, but maybe something that just has a totally different play style, so we get just some more fun interactions. Or if it is just a secondary one for me, just to have as kind of a palate cleanser, if I get really tired of always just being the very simple-minded charge, 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 hack, 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 kill, 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 you know, blood for the blood god, skull for the skull throne kind of thing. Yeah, anyways, definitely check those other videos out. And with that said, as always, I hope you're doing well, be safe, take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.